Gilbert, I am excited to introduce our next guest. You know what? He's not just a guest. He's a compa, and we go way back. I'm talking about our good friend, Nick Hamilton, founder and creator of Nitecast Media, a rising Black-owned media outlet in Los Angeles. Nick, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, what's going on, man? I'm glad to be on, man. My mom made it.
Nick, I am so happy to see you on Compas on the Beat. We keep talking about having you on, so I'm glad to see you on. And we're gonna talk about sports. And I know you're a big fight fan. That's the reason why I really want to have you on, because it's kind of rare to find boxing fans like you, Nick. You're plugged in basketball as well. Obviously, in the NFL, we see each other at Chargers headquarters all the time. But before we get there, Nick, I gotta talk about Nitecast Media, because I keep seeing you doing big things. You're being interviewed by a lot of people, not be interviewed by us. So we got to ask you, man, what is going on with Nitecast Media, and tell us about your big plans for the network.
Hey man, well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad we were able to make it come to fruition.
Make sure the check is in the account, though. Don't let that bounce.
I don't do rubber checks, bro. I do stuff that fold. I don't do stuff that jingles. Hello.
My bad, Chief. Sorry for interrupting you. Welcome to Compas on the Beat, by the way.
That's the inside thing for those that may be watching and don't understand why I'm laughing. But anyway, Nitecast Media just was created because it was something that, I had a vision for a very long time. And it just, like everything else, man, it's timing. Like you guys coming together with this great show, it's just timing and it's opportunity at the same time. So I think between that and watching how media has unfolded in the last, I would say 10 to 12 years, especially with the just the separation between mainstream media and then media of color, primarily Black media, Black-owned media, not just Black targeted. And that's something that I wanted to make sure that was known, that we're not just Black targeted, we are Black-owned. And the opportunities that we are not always afforded as Black media, that needs to cease. I mean, over the course of the year 2020, when we were going through the unfortunate nature of the pandemic, we were also watching the continued destruction of our people at the hands of police and even white supremacists. We talk about Ahmaud Arbery, we talk about George Floyd, of course, Breonna Taylor, most recently Dante Wright, the 20-year-old that was killed by the police officer in Minnesota. So you see all these types of things, and then you see all these PSAs being put out by these sports franchises and even these entertainment venues that are saying they want to stand up against and help in, institutionalized and systemic racism and oppression and police brutality. Okay, well, does that stop at media? Because I don't see a lot of people that look like me. I don't see a lot of people that look like you two, men and women. So I don't see, with the leagues that we cover, with the NFL being primarily 70+% Black, the NBA is 75% Black, the WNBA is 80% Black. And then you have the Major League Baseball, that's 7% Black American baseball players, but you have a lot of Latino baseball players and Latin American baseball players that come from Central and South America. So how come I don't see more people that look like you two, for example? So there was a point where I said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. If that's what you're saying you're standing up against, then okay, let's do it all the way around. Don't just say it because it's cute. Don't just say it because it's timely. Let's mean it all the way around, and let's see some differences, and let's see some more diversity when it comes to that. So that's another reason why I wanted to be able to tell our stories, not just Black stories, but stories of color, that, we have a voice that mainstream America doesn't always, listen to or can disseminate that type of information to our communities. So we have to be the ones to be in there. We have to be the ones that tell certain stories. That's why a lot of times people may scratch their heads and say, why do you ask these players these types of questions? It's not always the X's and O's and, okay, what happened here? Like, you two, for example, are, you guys are football, aficionados as far as I'm concerned. You guys know the game. I've gone to you guys at times and say, hey man, what's this? What's that? It's to make sure I'm on point. But there are a lot of times there are stories beyond the stories. There's stories that go beyond the football field or the basketball court or the hockey rink, for example. That those are the kind of stories that I want to continue to be able to tell and be able to have opportunity to give to other people that may want to come on. You and I, Fernando, we go way back covering, the San Diego Chargers.
You're not allowed to say that on the show.
Oh, okay. I'm not. Oh, San Diego Chargers.
There you go.
You know me, I don't. You
We've
know
just
I
been
don't give a
fined.
damn. You know I don't give a damn.
No, I know.
But you know, back in 2014, and how we had to come on, and then you know somebody had to give us an opportunity. Same thing with Gilbert. You know, you
Shout out
covered
to
the
Bill
Raiders.
Johnston.
Yeah. Oh, Bill Johnson was he was a G amongst G's for that one, man, because he took a chance when he didn't have to.
Yeah.
But you know, I will always, you know, give him credit, and even the staff too at that time down there, because they took a chance as well. Gilbert, you know, you covering the Raiders for a few seasons. You know, you getting an opportunity to cover the Raiders. So it just takes that opportunity, but somebody had to open the door to let you in. And so that's one of the things I want to do with Nitecast Media is open up the door and let folks in. We have a very diverse staff, but yet we tell stories that represent us. And I want to be able to continue to tell those stories in the sports and pop culture or entertainment fields, and even in the tech world too, because we're definitely jumping into the tech world with gaming, but also there are a lot of apps that are created by Black and people of color that don't get recognized. There's some of the apps that we use on a daily basis. So I want to, you know, tap into that and be able to tell those stories. So it's just about having opportunity, being able to get in the door and knock down the doors. Because I'm personally tired of seeing people that I'm the only one, or maybe it's 2 or 3 of us that look like each other, and then the rest are you know, Caucasian.
Yeah.
So I got tired of that.
Definitely. And Gilbert, it's funny because Nick mentioned we've been buddies for a long time. So I've kind of seen from afar what Nick has done. I actually was with Nick for a year. He opened the door for me, and I was with him. So I know exactly what Nick is building. So honestly, I'm excited about
talk.
Nick. Huh?
I was gonna say he's not talk, he's all action.
No,
I
no,
love
heck
that,
no.
Nick.
He's all about that action, boss. So definitely, Nick is really building something special, and it's very exciting to see everything that Nick does. I mean, I'm telling you, like there was times where I'd be like, oh, like at one of the Charger games, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go home, and Nick's like, yeah, I have to go cover the Kings, and I'm like, oh crap, really? He's like, yeah. Or like we'd be at Chargers practice, be like, oh, I'm gonna go cover the Lakers. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, like stuff like that. So Nick really has been Mr. LA. That's why I call him Mr. LA. Like Nick is Mr. LA. I mean, I saw he was doing his Fresh Prince over the weekend. He was in Bel Air doing some stuff. So I was like, hey, I even commented, I'm like, Fresh Prince vibes on here just for
This guy.
But literally, like Nick is all over the place. I know exactly, like every time I look on Instagram or Twitter, I know Nick is going to be in a whole new place. So literally Nick is literally the guy in LA to know.
Yeah, and I wanted to say also, when I first moved back from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and I went into Chargers headquarters for the first time, I think Nick was one of the first people that came and introduced himself to me, because I was still kind of like, I feel kind of new. I felt like a little like an outsider. And Nick straight up like, hey, what's up? You know, I kind of heard some things about you in Las Vegas. Welcome, and hopefully you're comfortable in Los Angeles and covering the Chargers. I was like, dang, that was pretty cool. This Nick guy, and I don't think I ever told you, but that really made me feel, you know, settled in, because I was like, you know, it's a new beat. I was a little nervous. So, you know, Nick, you know, you're outgoing. I see the hustle. I see you doing all these sports, and I like how you created your own avenue in your own path. Yeah, it's tough out there for minorities, and kind of to get jobs. It's a very lack of jobs offered to minorities, but you did something about it. You created your own media outlet, and again, you weren't all talk. You helped out Fernando. Your action, you have a diverse staff, and you're doing a little bit of everything. You're not just limited to, you know, what you know. You're trying to learn as well, and I think that's what media is about. You know, hearing different communities, hearing different voices, and trying new things.
No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for that. I just felt like, you know, we got to be able to lift each other up, and you know, this is not, like I tell people all the time. I've always grown up in the sense of there's good and bad in every race, no matter what race, gender, sexual orientation you may be. There's good and bad. It just depends on who you come across. And I've been very fortunate over the course of my career to have, you know, white people have helped me, Black people have helped me, Latino people have helped me, members of the LGBTQ community have helped me at times. Asian people have helped me, men, women, whoever it is. So I always value those relationships and just learning from those individuals that I come across, even the people that have been complete, ass clowns to me. I learned from them too, because I learned how to get the hell away. You know what I'm saying? I learned, okay, your stank ass can stay over there. I'm good. I'm gonna stay right over here. And,
I know who he's talking about.
I'm talking about a few people. I ain't gonna name no names because I don't want to get you guys in a lawsuit, and I don't feel like having people, writing me all these negative emails. So I'm gonna leave the names out of it. I'm gonna protect the name. I'm gonna protect the guilty. But it's just you just learn, man, and you just be able to bounce back. And like sometimes I've had a chance before the pandemic. I used to speak to kids in like colleges and stuff, and I would tell them the one thing about it is don't be afraid to get told the word no. Just realize a way to flip it into a yes, and then keep that yes, and then keep flipping. You know what I mean? And so it's the same thing I learned in this journey. The beautiful thing about our industry, man, is the fact that it's many ways up the mountain. You don't have to. It's not like an engineering degree or a doctorate. You know what I mean? Or becoming a scientist. Like you got to do this or becoming a lawyer. It's different ways we can do it, especially in this space, man. Like look what we're doing right now. Like, who would have thought we would be doing this right now? Like this type of technology. So it's cool, man. Like, I enjoy it. It's bumps and bruises along the way, man, because it's a lot of responsibility, especially in the position that I'm in. But I take it how it comes.
No, and that's awesome, Nick. We're definitely excited to see what Nitecast Media does. But let's get into some NBA. See, I see you going like this. I know what you know is coming up. Let's talk some NBA postseason. What in the hell is going on? I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies end up upsetting the Utah Jazz. The Clippers take that L by Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. I mean, there's a lot of madness going on right now. I mean, the Bucks and the Heat they literally take it to the end of the game. I mean, there's a lot of good basketball. What have you made so far of the first weekend of the NBA postseason?
Man, it's wild as hell. I mean, if I don't even want to bet. Like if I was a betting man, I keep my money in my pocket because you may come up, you may be under a freeway by the time the game is over with. You never know. But it's been exciting at the same time, man. I mean, think about what we're doing. I mean, we've played through a pandemic, right? And now we have the playoffs. We have fans back in the stands. Slowly but surely, they're being ushered in, especially here in the state of California. I've seen other states where they've allowed a lot more fans in the stands, which is great. When you talk to the players post game, that's one of the things that they mention. Like, man, whether they're opposing fans or fans cheering for you, the fact that fans are just back in the building and guys can feed off of that type of energy without the fake crowd noise in the background, I think is amazing. But when you talk about the Memphis Grizzlies, I told people, young Kobe, aka Ja Morant. Ja Morant is that dude. Ja Morant has an ability that is unmatched and unparalleled. I mean, this kid is the Energizer Bunny. This kid is dynamic. He moves. How he moves is how the Memphis Grizzlies will move as they continue to go forward. And I do believe, they're shocking the Jazz. And what did I tell y'all? Didn't I say the Utah Jazz was fool's gold? I told people they were fool's gold. They look great in the regular season. Shout out to Quinn Snyder, but they are fool's gold. I don't trust this team. I don't trust. The only time I will trust the Utah Jazz is if they get to the Western Conference Finals and they're up 2-0 in a series. That's when I'll say, okay, you know what? Let me take a closer look at the Utah Jazz. Outside of that, they slipping like a bad transmission. And that's exactly what I told people. That's exactly what I said. Everybody thought I was crazy. Okay. How you like me now?
Wow. I love that recap there. You made it fun and interesting, Nick. But the way you talk about the Jazz, the way I was kind of speaking on the Phoenix Suns, and it sounds like maybe I could have been wrong. Are the Lakers in trouble with Phoenix? 2 against 7, and it doesn't seem like they're the 2, but these Suns are playing like a 2 seed with Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Aiden. So are the Lakers in trouble? What's your takeaway from that?
Well, let me say, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I have to echo the same sentiments as AD said on Sunday evening. He cannot be a milk carton all-star any longer. AD is gonna have to show the hell up. He is going to have to be that strong number 2 that we are accustomed to seeing alongside LeBron James. LeBron James cannot do it by himself. I do believe he's still, dealing with that ankle, the best way he knows how. But other guys have got to step in. KCP, other guys have got to start stepping up. When you look at this Phoenix Suns team, we all held our collective breaths at the time when Chris Paul went down because we like, damn, not another injury. Damn, man. You out here blowing tires left and right, man. Come on, get it together. And so it was good to see Chris Paul get back in the game. It was good to see, the chippiness in this series. I think this series is definitely going to be chippy. I picked the Lakers in 7 in this series because I think it's going to go 7. but I don't personally see the Lakers getting out of the second round. I just don't. I think there is too much piled on, and it's not enough time. In other words, whoever they face in the second round, it's going to be a dogfight in this Sun series. But if they go to the second round, they're going to get beat up even more. And LeBron James is older. Not to say that he can't compete. I think LeBron James is still a great basketball player. I don't pick the Lakers to repeat as champions because I think they're too injury prone, as it were. They were decimated with injuries too late in the season. If they would have been decimated in injuries like in the beginning of the season, I think you would have still been a top 4 team because they could have rebounded from that. But the biggest mistake I think the Lakers made in the offseason was not re-signing Dwight Howard. I understand about Rondo because of the money you can't pay everybody, but Dwight Howard was an instrumental part in them getting that 2020 NBA championship, rather. So I think if the Lakers don't get it together in game 2, it's going to be a long series, and it won't be in favor of the Lakers if they don't turn it around. So they got to go steal game 2 on Tuesday night, and then bring it back to LA and try to hold down the home court and get some home cooking. Because if they don't, it's a wrap.
Nick, we look into the basement of Staples Center, and the Clippers reside down there. When you think about the Clippers, what's going on? I mean, it seems like, Luka Doncic at one point, he was good for the first 3 quarters, and then it feels like some of the bench took over in the second half, and they were able to do some the Dolphins are hosting former Chargers pass rusher Melvin Ingram, according to Adam H. Beasley.
Busy Monday.
Yeah, interesting.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you look at the Clippers and what is going on? Do you feel like, it feels like Paul George at one point he can't hit a shot. They weren't hitting any threes. Kawhi played well in the first quarter, but then really in the fourth quarter, he couldn't really do much. Do you feel like what happened because I saw this happening at the back end of the season, there's nobody to take over in the fourth quarter. Do you feel like the Clippers really are missing a closer? And do you feel like the Clippers are in trouble in a sense? Maybe not in this round, but they could be in trouble in these playoffs.
Well, here's the thing with the Clippers. First of all, the Clippers, they never play well with 12-30 or 130 games. That's been traditional. Look at their record. They never play well.
Excuse
I don't know.
Number 1. All right.
It's not an excuse. It's just fact. Listen, the Clippers were like fat people in steam rooms. You couldn't see them in the first half. They were terrible. They didn't show up at all in the first half. But then in the second half, it seemed like as it got going, Paul George stepped up. Paul George started to knock down some shots. Kawhi Leonard was on fire when first of all he posterized somebody. He damn near snatched the soul on that dunk in the third quarter. That was the roof almost went off at Staples Center. I was there. The crowd got ballistic when that happened. I think that was a lift that they needed.
Well, when you pay $85 for a ticket, I guess that's in there.
Bang! Shots fired. Somebody doesn't like the Clippers today.
Pretty obvious, huh?
Man, as obvious can be. Goodness gracious. Tell me how you really feel, Fernando. Goodness gracious. But I think, with the Clippers, I think the problem is they were leading with about 6:10 left in the fourth quarter. They were up 98-95. Now, they went in the last 6 minutes. The Clippers shot 2 for 12 from the field. They were 0 for 7 from 3. That's not going to get it done. So you talk about having a closer. Somebody's going to have to step up, whether it be Kawhi Leonard, whether it be Paul George. Somebody's going to have to step up out of those two and knocks down clutch shots and key shots and high percentage shots to make sure that they keep maintaining those leads down the stretch. Because I'm going to tell you something, Luka Doncic is not for play. We talked to Rick Carlisle on Saturday evening, and he was like, look, this is Luka's time. This is what he waited all year for, to show up and to show out. And let me tell you something. He told Pat Beverly, you can't guard me. You too short. Get off me. And that's exactly, and he proved it every step of the way. Now, the fourth quarter, he scored 1 point in the fourth quarter, and that was at the free throw line. So the Clippers, if you look at a positive, the Clippers did kind of contain Luka Doncic, but then there's everybody else that stepped up. Tim Hardaway Jr., Porzingis, who Carlisle surprisingly finished out the stretch. Yeah. So there were other guys involved that they could not simply stop, and that's a problem. I look forward to seeing more Boogie Cousins in game 2. I think Boogie needs to get in the paint. I think you need to have Boogie's presence out there, not just because what he can do on the stat sheet, but what he does that doesn't make the stat sheet as far as having a presence out there, making sure guys are in the right positions, especially in that second unit when you have Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard and those guys out there. Because let me tell you something, Dallas is going to attack. And when you look in the first half of game one, they were punking the Clippers in the paint. They were not getting any. They were very physical. They were letting you know, man, it looked like Monday Night Raw, the Lumberjacks match out there in the first half in the paint.
Zombie lumberjack match.
It looked bad.
Yeah, no. And Nick, I'm gonna hand it off to Gilbert. Gilbert's excited about this next topic because this hits close to home for Gilbert. Gilbert, go ahead, my brother. You take this.
Man, but I feel like I'm interrupting Nick with the NBA postseason because he's dropping the knowledge right now. Some catchy one-liners. And Fernando, ease up on the Clippers, man. I would just say that. But anyways,
show me something,
Nick. Before we let you go, that's actually we'll see because I'm worried about the Lakers. But
right.
Anyways, before I let you go, actually, there's two things we want to talk about. I love boxing. I love Drizzy Drake. So before I let you go, real quick. Finally, boxing has some big fights. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury trilogy, big heavyweight match, and the very intriguing one, Manny Pacquiao, the ageless wonder comes back against Errol Spence Jr.
Senator
Manny Pacquiao, I think 8th division champion. I could keep going, but Errol Spence Jr. is a problem. So this might be Manny Pacquiao's biggest fight. He fought Floyd Mayweather, so maybe I'm kind of getting ahead there. But real quick, what do you expect from those two fights? And then let me know what's going on with Drizzy Drake as well.
Man, I love the Earl Spence and Pacquiao fight. I think that's a great fight for Earl Spence, especially coming back from that accident. First of all, thank God he's back in the ring. He's healthy. He's definitely going to be the Earl Spence that we all have been accustomed to seeing. And I got Earl Spence in this one. I think it's going to be a very strategic fight. Pacquiao can't be taken lightly. I don't care how old he is. You called him the ageless wonder. That's exactly what he is. You cannot be taken lightly because he will creep on the come up. He will definitely sleep, find you sleep, and he will make the best of that. So Earl Spence has got to come with his A++ game when it comes to Manny Pacquiao. But I do believe Earl Spence can come out the victor in this fight. I think this is the fight that Earl Spence needs. Just much like we saw the Canelo fight not too long ago. And I know you were there, Gilbert. Gilbert's always at the fights, by the way. Like, Gil be at these fights like you think he's 50 deep and it's just him. Like, Gil be out here in these streets. Like, he be in these boxing streets deep. So
you can't stay away.
Let's not get that twisted. So this is the man behind with the plan when it comes to boxing. I follow Gil when it comes to this boxing. There's 3 people I follow in boxing. Gil is one of them. Shout out to my man G Malone, who actually is a boxing advocate, and then Ellie Setback, who does a great job. So those are 3 guys I follow, and I'm telling y'all something. Glasses Malone would be a great guest for y'all one day on Compas if y'all can get him.
There you go, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. What did you think about that one?
Oh, I was glad it happened. To this day, I can't wait for this fight because I've been waiting for this fight for a long time, much like we've been waiting for the Triple G Canelo fight, if that ever happens. I think I like Deontay Wilder. I like his spirit. I like his strength. I saw his workout. The man up here lifting damn near logs. All right, if you lifting a log, you about that action.
I saw him last year in Miami. He had chains on chains on chains, glasses. I was like, damn, there's the champ. He was sitting there. I was like, yo, what's that? And people were coming up. He turns around and he says a 4-letter word that I can't say on this show that I did say last week on accident. I apologize again. But he said a 4-letter word followed by off. So I just started laughing. I'm like, that's the man right there. But Gilbert, are you ready to, before we ask him our final question, I want to fire up Nick. Nick, who you got, Floyd Mayweather or Logan Paul?
Is that even a question?
Okay, are you gonna watch that fight?
Yeah, that's a better question. I was gonna say.
Yeah, somebody give me the streaming for free.
There you go.
I ain't paying for that crap, and I had to watch my words on that one. I ain't paying for that. I mean, I love Floyd Mayweather. I think Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers of all time. But I mean, come on, man. This is like a high schooler beating up a 4th grader, and a high schooler being Floyd Mayweather. Come on, man. It's not even fair.
Well, last one that we wanted to reach out with you is Billboard just named Drizzy Drake, Artist of the Decade. Nick, what do you think that means? And I mean, do you think that he deserved the award?
Oh, absolutely. Drake is a hit maker. I mean, Drake, the boy can rap his ass off. I mean, that's just no question about it. I mean, he's born to rap. I don't really care for the singing too much, but I like when he raps, the dude gets after it tough.
From wheelchair to rapping.
I mean, he's an actor, he's an artist. The man has definitely stage presence.
He's the backup for Jake from State Farm.
I mean, exactly. The man's doing commercials. I mean, he's doing it all, man. I mean, the man has shoe lines and he's into the fashion game. I mean, Drake is doing it all, but Drake has been consistent by doing it. I mean, one thing you could say, Drake has been absolutely consistent. He shows why he's the talented individual, and you see why Lil Wayne chose him along with Nicki Minaj to kind of be the front runners for Young Money at the time, because Lil Wayne saw the talent. Lil Wayne saw the vision as much as Drake did. So as much as we want to credit, Drake as we should, we also have to give some props to Lil Wayne for actually seeing it and then bringing it to the forefront and sharing his platform with him in order for Drake to kind of take off in a sense to higher heights. But to me, man, it's like saying, Drake is the artist of the decade. You got to he's great. I mean, say what you want, but Drake is great. It reminds me of this line back in the day that said, who's the greatest, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? And to me, it's like, who's the greatest now, Drake, Kendrick, or Cole? I mean, those are the three top dogs right now. It's Drake, it's Cole, who dropped an incredible record, by the way. The off season is incredible. And then now it's like, okay, when's Kendrick dropping? When's Kendrick Lamar dropping? That's what we all waiting on right now. When is Kendrick dropping? Somebody get Top on the phone, because that's what we want to know. When is Kendrick dropping his record? Because I know Kendrick's going to drop another masterpiece. I mean, Damn was incredible, but I know he's going to take it to an even larger level. And I would love, honestly, real quick, I would love to see on a song, just not even an EP, not on a mixtape, just one song. If we can get Kendrick, Drake, and Cole on one record, it's out of here.
Let's do it.
I think you need to switch careers and become a record label.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm cool. Definitely exciting. Nick, thank you so much for joining Compas. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
Gentlemen, thank you for letting me be on Compas on the beat. I appreciate it. I thank you guys so much. Congratulations to you both. If I didn't say it before, very proud of you guys. You guys are doing it real big. You guys are getting some major guests on here. You allowed myself to come on here. So, hey, I appreciate that.
We got some fun coming next week too. Ooh.
Oh, see, y'all bringing the funk. Tune in. Y'all bringing the funk, man.
We're bringing fire this week, fire next week. We're like Fernando Tatis Jr. right now, hitting freaking grand slams on 9-game winning streaks. That's what it's all about.
Hey man, y'all like Dylan. You spit hot fire. Dylan. You spit hot fire. But you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Nick Hamilton LA. You can also find me on Twitter at Nick Hamilton 213. Also, make sure you follow me at nitecastmedia.com. That's NITECASTMEDIA.com for the latest in your gateway to sports, pop culture, tech, and lifestyle. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Got an exclusive interview with WWE superstar The Miz that is currently on the website. So you definitely want to check that out, and so much more. Great staff. Shout out to the entire staff at Nitecast Media. Shout out to Downtown Rams as well as Lakers Unfiltered, the two new shows that we have on tap at Nitecast Media. So you definitely want to check those out. And make sure y'all check out Compas on the Beat, man. Don't miss an episode. If you do, you a sucker and you slipping. Don't do it.